Welcome to the Loveland Report and the Loner Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loner Ranger. Hopefully you burned off all your tryptophan from all that turkey you ingested. You burned that off yesterday searching Black Friday deals. And we're going to talk to our Thanksgiving show, last show of November, Bruce, going into Christmas. We're going to talk about how I think you should buy now. Inventory's kind of peaked. I think it's as high as it's going to go. I'm going to talk about what, you're going to build a rental portfolio. What's on your Christmas list? What should that look like? Tax time, end of the year, we'll go into a little bit of that. You've got a self-employed and a bank statement loan.
I have a great bank statement program.
A 1099 program. We'll go into all
I've got a 1099 program. If you're a 1099 employee and you have been struggling to be able to buy a home because you're writing off everything, I'll use 90% of your 1099. How about that? 90%.
Yep. That's good.
To qualify you for.
I just think our inventory's jumped up. We got about a 5-month supply. I think it's going to hover there the next 2 months or so. And the number of listings has actually come down, Bruce. Usually the number of listings during the winter will slow down, but it was really, really on a brisk pace. I think people had seen their house appreciate. We got a lot of listings over the summer that built up the inventory. The 6 and 7% interest rate slowed down sales, but I think we're looking at a good spring, a great first quarter, second quarter of real estate. I think January 20th is the day, January 20th, we get relief from the last 4 years of craziness from Sleepy Joe.
Well, it'll start now. Speaking of that, what is it going to take for interest rates to drop? We need to talk about that because that's the hot topic. That's what's keeping people on the sidelines. So right now, interest rates are a little higher than they were even back in September before the first half cut Fed cut rate. And they're up from there. What is it going to take for interest rates to drop? Well, by lowering the Fed rate will not impact mortgage rates. Matter of fact, if you look at the chart, they got much worse each time the Fed lowered the Fed rate. Why is that? Because it sucks money from the bond market into the equities market. And when equities are doing well, meaning stocks, bonds are usually suffering. And when bonds are suffering, the interest rates are going to suffer. They're going to go up. And that's what's happening. So what is it going to take? It's going to take President Trump to start drilling again and start producing energy.
Yep.
Once we start producing energy, that's going to wipe out inflation. That's the only thing that's really going to wipe it out because we've got it relatively under control, but the bond market has no flavor right now. There's no reason for investors to jump into the bond market when they see the stock market rallying the way it is. So, matter of fact, if you are not in the market right now, get yourself into the market. If you don't know how to invest, put your money in the S&P 500. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm not licensed to tell you what stocks to buy and what not to buy. I'm just telling you, I think that if you don't know what to do, put your money in the S&P 500. That's what I do. I put about 50% of my assets are in the S&P. Then I'm divided into about 5 major stocks. And then I have a few of my favorite picks that I play with. You don't have to be complicated. Well, you don't have to buy Bitcoin.
They talk about the busiest week in real estate is usually like the third week of April. And that's just because of spring season. People are buying homes because of the summer. They want to move during the summer. But right now is actually the best time as far as your inventory pressures, less people looking. There's more on the market right now. I don't think inventory is going to go any higher. And as it goes lower, you're competing against more offers. I had multiple offers of the 5 homes I sold last week. I had multiple offers on 2 of those.
Yeah.
And they only went about, one went 1%, one went 2% over list. So it's just, now's the time. You're not fighting 20 people. You're not pulling up to a house.
Even though the market is slower right now, Cleve, our business is really picked right up. I mean, I've got a lot of buyers buying in the market right now.
The day after election day, I started getting calls from people who've been sitting on the fence. Now the buyer traffic is better.
Buyer traffic,
but I haven't had that.
It's going to get even better.
I see offers in my inbox, and so that hasn't picked back up to where it was. Let's say from the beginning of the year, because we had decent traffic at the beginning of the year, and then the rates slowed it. But I think it's really going to get better. Because where do you see rates kind of hovering in the 6s for the next couple months?
Yeah, I do. I don't see that we're going to go down until we start drilling. You're going to start to see interest rates go down. That's my opinion. I think that it's just going to be a matter of time, but I don't think they're going to go down fast. And I think that all these people that are waiting for interest rates to drop are going to just sit and wait and wait and wait. But those of you that want to get in the market
was going to crash and never bought something.
So listen, we talked last week about that the prices in the area of Sarasota all the way down to Punta Gorda have dropped as much as 3%, some areas as much as 5%. Mm-hmm. Well, it's because of the hurricanes. So it's generally snowbirds that didn't realize what a hurricane was until it actually hit them.
First one. Yeah.
Now they've flooded 2 times in 1 year and they're like, I'm done with this. I'm selling my house and I'm going to sell it for a discount.
Well, you know where they come? They come here.
Yeah, they're going to move to Orlando, right? Where it's a little drier, a little higher.
They still want the Florida weather.
These are buying opportunities, guys. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. It will be 6 months before everybody forgets about the hurricanes and goes, oh, wow, that was a real deal. I should have bought that house down in Punta Gorda when I could. I do a ton of business down in Sarasota, Punta Gorda, all Tampa. It's a great market. If you want to buy down there, I lend in all 50 states. But listen, these are buying signals. Just like Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy, but be greedy when others are fearful.
Now's that time. Now's that time.
And you know what else I'm looking for right now? I have so much business that I need to hire some more loan officers and more loan officer assistants. So I'm out looking, particularly bilingual. I like young, energetic people. Now, I know that might not.
That's an oxymoron.
Is that I know it is. And it may be an HR faux pas. I got to watch that stuff, right? But I'm looking for people that really, really want to work and want a career that they can build on. So if you are a loan officer, you have 2 years experience, but you're not closing enough transactions, it's because you're with the wrong company. You don't have the right products. You don't have the right coaching. You don't have the right systems. So you call the loan arranger. I've got opportunities right now. 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. You can call or text my number. If you'd like to reach Cleve Loveland, Cleve Loveland can be reached right now at 407-352-8118. That's 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. Talk about your 50-point staging list.
Well, I've got getting a house ready to sell, Bruce. A lot of people think they need to spend 4, 5, 6% of the price to get it done. They think they need to remodel things when normally all it needs is lipstick, about 1 or 2%. And I've got a 50-point staging checklist, and normally it's money. It's in the yard, cleaning up any, like, people don't want to take over a project. I was in a house, poor little lady, her husband passed away, widower. Nobody's touched the yard. It's an acre and a half. It looks like a jungle. And so literally that'll probably be a $5,000 cleanup job, but this is an $800,000 property.
Sure.
To trim it down, make it look manageable, have the landscaper take over some things, but that's worth it because you don't want somebody going, oh my God. Because people think remodeling a kitchen costs $70,000. It doesn't. It's about 20.
Well, if you call a renovation company, it might
sometimes
cost you
they
that
might.
much.
Yeah, I've got people call me. I've got people that can do that. For
and we have people that won't
flooring.
Rip you off.
It's usually paint, flooring if it needs it. Sometimes it's just a pre-listing inspection. Sometimes it is pretty far gone, and you do the pre-listing inspection to make sure you verify repairs. But one thing funny, like Bruce, I always say, well, maybe somebody will want to come along and fix something up as it is. You know how many homes I've sold to the fixer-uppers for a decent price?
Not that many.
Hardly any. I mean, usually you're talking about
our
average price, almost 500,000. Our average price, mom and dad are probably both working, and they're not handymen. They're not flooring experts. They're not going to tile and grout. They're not going to redo the bathroom and put in cabinets and things like that. They're not going to do that. They think it costs twice as much as it really does. So they'd rather just go buy the new house down the street, even if it is a smaller home or it costs a little bit more. They will look at those things. Time is money to these people. So you got to be wary of that. But I can help people stage their home, get it set up. You want it looking very minimalist. Sometimes people need to have a estate sale. They need to have a garage sale. They need to put stuff in storage. They need to clean it up. Very minimalistic on the inside, but very little work needed. They can move in and unpack.
So don't spend more money than you have to, folks. Call the professional. Call Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. He'll help you sell your home, get the most for it, and save the most money on getting it prepared. Now, I want to talk about a couple of builders that I work with that I really like. Why? Because they're family-owned business. They're not big box. They're not the big box companies. These are family-owned businesses that really care about their customers and build a great home. Trinity Family Builders out of Orlando, building in St. Cloud, Mineola, Claremont, Leesburg. And I tell you what, they got 15, 20 inventory homes ready to move in right now. You call me, I'll connect you with them. and they'll pay all your closing costs for you up to 6% of the purchase price. Unbelievable deal. Then you've got Southern Homes down in Lakeland. I spent the whole day in Lakeland yesterday with one of my reps, and we went and visited a bunch of communities. I'm telling you, here's your starter homes, houses in the low to mid 300s with oversized lots, not a 40-foot lot. I'm talking about 60, 80-foot lots on some of these homes. So you want all your closing costs paid. You want a rate buy down. You want a great deal. You want a house in the 300s. I'll connect you with my friends at Southern Homes, Bartow, Lakeland, down in Avalon Park, Babson Park, Sebring. I'm telling you, this is a great builder, and you get all your closing costs paid. Call the Loan Arranger at 407-352 I'm giving out your number, 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com.
All right. And for Cleve Loveland, you got 352-8118 or cleveloveland.com. Inspections, Bruce. I want to talk about inspections.
Yeah.
And I rarely have a house. I think maybe once every couple of years, I'll have a house just totally fail. There was something unbeknownst to the seller and just horrible, big repair. But one thing you got to watch out for, I tell sellers when I'm negotiating, this is what sellers pay me for. When I'm negotiating and I give a counter offer, like let's say they'll come in, they're uneducated. They come in 50,000 below market when they should have come in 10,000 below market. And they come in really low. And I say, hey, look, here's your two choices on a counter offer. It's this price if you want the washer dryer to stay, and it's this price if you don't. And if you don't want the warranty, knock off $800. I give them a couple choices, not so that we're fighting with them, but I also tell them if there's anything wrong, we will fix it within reason. And that usually belays some fears that these uneducated buyer's agents have. I don't want to fault them for having, they got a buyer. I want to try and make a deal if it works, but I want to get them up to a good price, because what happens is the inexperienced agent gets a 50-page inspection report. And the inspection report almost always mentions there's mold on the AC blower. And
right.
By the way, my brother's a mold remediator, and here's his card. I think we got about a $10,000 job here. And that's just BS. And all the AC needs is to be serviced. And so my job, usually what I get on inspections is I get people asking for $5,000 when there might be $500 worth of things to fix.
Yes.
And then the question is, okay, do we have multiple offers? Well, if not, fix those things for the buyer, make them happy. And that's the easiest way to go through about things. And I rarely see something that's really, really troublesome. I had one that was probably the worst inspection I've had in a couple of months. And it just there was a bunch of wood rot around the home. The roof had gone, actually about an extra $5,000 worth of stuff. And I talked to the seller. I said, well, we can go back on the market. I said, but this was our only offer. And she was more eager to get into her new home. She was downsizing, reducing expenses. So we did the 5,000 and we gave the credit for that. You've got to be reasonable in these things, but knowing what's reasonable is what you pay an experienced agent for. So if you have questions like that, or you don't want to worry about those things, I'll handle them for you when you sell or when you buy. 407-352-8118. So, and I want to talk about, my Christmas list, Bruce.
Yeah. What's on your Christmas list?
I want
a new
get
Corvette.
Two more homes. Nope.
One's enough.
One's enough. 2 more homes next year. 2 more rental properties.
That's a great idea.
In that starter price range, good neighborhoods. And this is the ideal rental property for all of you out there listening. Not a condo. Townhome, maybe. But 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, or 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Don't have to have the pool. The thing with the pool is you don't get a lot of extra rent for it. And you have to you always want to pay for the pool service, because the tenant turns it green. It costs you $1,000 to get it back to blue. I
have one rental property with a pool. It'll end up being my primary residence when I retire. But I require that a pool service be included.
Yeah.
And
I'm not
stay
away from the gamey stuff. Right now, Davenport and Reunion are all saturated with weekly rentals, because everybody thought that was the neatest thing since Bitcoin, and everybody bought those after COVID. And now nobody can afford the vacation. So there's hundreds of them on the market. So, but any questions for your real estate plan, I can help you with it. 407-352-8118.
Or cleveloveland.com or the Loan Arranger. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. We've got more to talk about. I want to talk about why you should not refinance right now when we come back from the next break. You can call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. Webringyouhome.com. Don't go anywhere. Cleve and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Got a lot more interesting things for you to know.